Hello everyone. So my report is all about quantum algorithms. So what is quantum computing? So quantum computing is a computational paradigm that leverages principles of quantum mechanics to process information. So unlike the classical computing, which uses bits or zeros or one, which tells the phase or state of on and off, quantum computing uses qubits. So, in short, or qubits exist multiple states simultaneously. So, in other words, it could be 1 and 2 at the same time. 0 and 1 at the same time, or open and close at the same time. So, multiple states simultaneously. So, here are the core properties of the quantum computer. Okay. So the first one is superposition. Particles like photons or electrons can exist in multiple states or positions simultaneously rather than just one. And number two or the second property is entanglement, which means two or more particles become linked, where the quantum state of each particle cannot be described independently of the others. So regardless of the distance, two or more particles or two or more qubits become linked regardless of the distance. The next or the third one is quantum interference. So this is the ability of quantum wave to overlap, either reinforcing, constructive, or canceling out. Okay, so quantum interference basically means it cancels out or distracts all the wrong outcomes. So what's left is the right or possible outcome. Okay. So there will be two algorithms that I will be discussing. So the first one will be Shor's algorithm. This is proposed by Peter Shor in 1994. So the goal here is to factorize large composite numbers, or using Shor's algorithm, large composite numbers or integers can be factorized efficiently rather than the classical factoring algorithms, which is slower. So using this algorithm, we can exponentially have a faster processing power. So one of the impacts here, if this algorithm can be integrated to our or can be used, is that it can break RSA encryption. Okay, so here I will be discussing about the prime factorization. So there are certain rules that this algorithm needs to. So n is equals to p sub 1 times p sub 2. What this basically means is the number should be factorized by two prime numbers. And then there are certain rules that we need to satisfy for this one. So the first one is that the prime factors or prime integers should be more than 2. It should not be equal or less than 2. So that's the first rule. So the second rule is n is equals to 2k plus 1. What this basically means is that n should be an odd number. So n cannot be an even number. Then the next set of rules that we need to satisfy is p sub 1 is not equal to p sub 2. So there should not be any the same prime factors for this algorithm. So primes must be distinct. And then the last rule is n should not be equal to p to the power of a, which means n cannot be a prime power. So this is a continuation to the previous rule that p1 should not be equal to p2. So n cannot be a prime power. For example, a 3 squared. So n cannot be a prime power. So this algorithm starts with an input n. So n is already determined, and all we need to find is the or are the prime factors p sub 1 and p sub 2. So it starts with selecting a random a such that a is greater than 1 and less than n. So a should not be less than 1, and then a should not or should be less than n. So here are the possible routes for our when selecting the a. So the first one is the lucky guess. So if we luckily guessed RA, so P1 and P2 is equals to GCD of AN. So to get the other prime factor, we are going to divide N by its GCD to get the other prime factor. So that is the end of the Shor's algorithm, but this case only happens if we get a lucky guess. The greatest common denominator of A and N, that A and N is equals to 1, so we need to find the minimum order. So R means the order. We need we need to find the minimum order such that A or the order of A is equals to 1 mod n. So mod basically means the modular equation, modular arithmetic of n. So in this part, the quantum computer does this very specific part. So this is going to be a lot of trial and error. So there are conditions that we need to meet in order for this to proceed. So the first condition is that the r should be divisible by 2, or basically this means is that r should be an even number. R should be divisible by 2. And if it is divisible by 2, we can proceed to this one. So a to the power of r divided by 2 is not equal to negative 1. Or what this means is that n should not be minus 1, negative 1 mod n. So if this set of rules is satisfied, we proceed to the next one. So P1 and P2 is equals to GCD of A raised to the power of R divided by 2 minus 1 and the n. And then to find the other prime number, GCD of A to the raised to the power of R divided by 2 plus 1. And then we can end the algorithm there. If all of these rules are not satisfied, so we need to start with a new A. So we are going to go back to selecting a random A such that 1 is less than A and A is less than N. So here I'm going to give you an example. Okay, so 15 is equals to P1. We need to find the prime factors of 15. So we all know this is the smallest composite numbers that we are going to find. So the first rule of n is that it should not be an even number. So this is already satisfied. So 15 is not an even number. So the first step is select a random a such that 1 or a is greater than 1 and a is less than the n. So if the greatest common denominator of a and n is greater than 1 and we get lucky, part is the lucky guess. So 14 is the n minus 1 of mod 15. Okay, so if we if we use this as our a, we are going to have some problems. So let's try to substitute this with this one. So 14 minus 1 is equals to 13n. 14 plus 1, which is this one, okay, is equals to 15. So this is not the right numbers that we need. So 13 and 15 doesn't have any greatest common denominator. And then 15 and 15, of course, we can't do anything about that. Problem to the uh, algorithm. Okay, so I have here a diagram that shows that the first order here, order number 1. So this is 2 over 2 to get 1. This one. Okay, so these are the numbers that we have. I have arranged this one. So based on the order. Okay, so in the first order, we have 2, 8, 7, 13, 4, 11, and 14. By the way, these numbers are all those guesses or that are unlucky. So these are the lucky guesses over here. So these are the ones that are not lucky guesses. So the reason that I have put this for 3 at the very first, because we have a condition here, okay, to find the minimum order of R. Okay, so the order of these 3 numbers is 2. Okay, so AR, or the order 1, should be equals to 1 mod n. Okay, so the minimum order of 1 mod n for these numbers. So 4, 11, and 14, the minimum order is order number 2. So we already found the 1 mod n for these numbers. But I have shaded this number 14 as red because again this one is negative 1 mod of 15. So we cannot use this part right here. So we can use 14 and 11, but for these numbers, the orders for this one is here in number 4. So on the second order, they all get 4. And then the third order, they get these numbers. Then the fourth order, they get 1. Okay. So if we use 4 over here, so 4 plus and minus 1 is equals to 3 and 5. And then for 11, 11 plus and minus 1 is equals to 10 and 12. So if we use this formula, we can get the prime factors over here. So for 3 and 5, so for this one, that is 3 and 15. So the GCD of 3 and 15 is 5 and 15. So the P1 and P2 is 3 and 15. So we have already found this one, and that is the time that we are going to end the algorithm. So if we use 10 and 12, we are still going to get 3 and 5 or 5 and 3 for the prime factors. So this algorithm has the ability to break the RSA encryption, and then it drives, because of this thread, it drives the development of the post-quantum cryptography to avoid this specific threat. So it has a huge impact to the national security systems, and it threatens the digital signatures of the blockchain. So the next algorithm that I'm going to be discussing is all about the Grover's algorithm. So the name of this algorithm, or the creator of this algorithm, is Love Grover, which is created in 1996. So the goal here is to find a specific item in an structured list. So in a classic computer, this is into big, the time complexity is big O of n, which means it is in a linear time complexity. So this algorithm has a time complexity of big O square root of n. So in classical complexity, we need to search for a million of times, but for the quantum algorithm, we only need 1,000 of searches. So in a classical search algorithm, such as the binary algorithm, we need to have a sorted list. But for this algorithm, we can search items. For this algorithm, Grover's algorithm, we can search our items in an unstructured list. So using binary system, we can find a name through a phone book by checking the numbers one by one. But in a in a Grover's algorithm, or if we need to find an item in an unstructured list, it is like finding a needle in a haystack. So here are the key concepts for this algorithm. So the first one is the superposition. So looking at all possible answers at once. So before we search, we start with a uniform superposition. So this is how it looks. So this means that the quantum computer considers all possible answers at once with equal probability. So that is the first step. So to look for or to start with a uniform superposition. Okay, so after that, we are going to the steps of finding the outcome.